What's up, guys? Ben Crawford here, doing a new podcast talking about Pac-12 cross country and track. And I figured, what could be a better time than to start it before the Pac-12 cross country championships this Friday? And with that being said, this podcast is basically just going to be me giving my hot takes and opinions on the conference and the whatabouts, the what's happening across the West Coast. Let's dive right in. First, I'm going to go through the USTFCCCA polls, just read out all the teams that are ranked in the Pac-12. Start on the men's side. First, we have Stanford, who's ranked number 4. They're the defending champion from last year. We have Washington, ranked number 7. Colorado, ranked number 8. Oregon, ranked number 11. UCLA, number 12. And Washington State, number 29. On the women's side, we have the defending champions Colorado, ranked number 1. Oregon is ranked number 4. Stanford, ranked number 6, number 6. And to round it out, Washington is ranked number 18. 16, actually. My bad, 16. Taking a look at the men's teams, Stanford is led by defending champion Grant Fisher. He returns, already having a pretty good start to his season, finishing first in the pre-nats race in Wisconsin. That was an awesome race for him. He ran really fast and beat Tyler Day and Matthew Baxter, both who finished second and third respectively at Nationals last year behind Justin Knight. And, Fisher going ahead and beating those guys this year, I feel like that really shows that he has the finishing speed needed in a championship race. And obviously he won Pac-12s last year. Not sure what he got at Nationals. I want to say it was like 18th, somewhere in the teens, I believe. But yeah, obviously that must have been a big thing he worked off this offseason. It's just that getting that finishing speed ready. And yeah, it's going to be great to see him get to show his stuff when it comes time in November. But yeah, look for him, I think, to repeat his win from last year at Pac-12s this year. He'll be 2-time Pac-12 cross-country champion. And then also in the teams, Washington, ranked number 7. They finished second in their race to BYU at pre-nats. They ran pretty well. Got 2 transfers this year. Mick Stancevek from Oregon and Tanner Anderson from Oregon. They both came over with Andy Powell as he became the new head coach there. But yeah, and surprisingly, at pre-nats, Tibbs Proctor, the sophomore from Washington, got 6th place. He was their number 1 runner, which was awesome to see. Tanner Anderson, the transfer from Oregon, who's a junior, got 11th. Both ran good times. Tibbs ran, it looked like, 23:56. Tanner ran 24:01. And then also Talon Hull, the Utah native at Washington, who is a sophomore, 24:05. Good enough for 14th place. Those guys, it's a strong top 3 right there. And that's definitely something they needed to do after losing Andrew Gardner and Colby Gilbert due to them graduating. Those guys, two NCAA All-American caliber athletes, especially Colby Gilbert. Definitely, he was on the stage for a while. He definitely shown some fast times from him. And 34th place for the Huskies was Fred Huxham, the senior from Washington, running 24:21. So yeah, those for that top 4, that's going to be excited to see them, how they run. Expect big things from them. Next, we can take a look at the men of Colorado, and they finished 3rd place in their race at pre-nats behind Stanford and Northern Arizona, and had junior Joe Klecker come in 5th place, running 23:55. Very impressive, very fast time from Joe. And then 10th place, they had Ryan Forsyth, who ran 24:01, another really fast time. He's a senior. And so, yeah, 2 runners in the top 10. That's pretty impressive, especially at pre-nats. Definitely going to want to see them keep that energy moving forward into conference and regionals and then nationals. Hopefully they could be a team that's up there towards the end of the season. And then go down the list a little bit to 16. You have John Dressel, the junior, who ran 24:14. And then, yeah, it's impressive definitely during conference this week. Hopefully John gets a little closer to Ryan Forsyth in the race, and they can just kind of pack up and go and have a strong 2-3 finish for the Buffs. And then we can go down the list a little bit more and see that Eduardo Herrera placed 31st, who's sophomore, 24-29. And I think if Eduardo or Lalo can run as close to John as possible this postseason in this Pac-12s, I think that can give the Buffs a really great shot to potentially get up there with towards the top of the podium. And however it may be, maybe they can win. That would be awesome for them. But yeah, no, definitely, I definitely think that a good race from Eduardo Herrera will catapult the Buffs, because that's kind of going to be their catalyst right there, depending on if he can run, how fast he can run, and if he can get up there, then that's definitely going to make a big difference. Now on to the University of Oregon men, and they finished 4th in their pre-nats race, behind Colorado, Stanford, and Northern Arizona, scoring 152 points to Colorado's 110, Stanford's 84, and Northern Arizona's 41. Looking, their top finisher in that race was James West, who placed 17th overall and ran 24-14. Hopefully, if he was able to improve on his training throughout the past couple weeks after the race leading up to Pac-12s, be great to see him finish a little bit higher up at Pac-12s and really be able to make an impact for the Ducks as that low stick. But not too far behind him was freshman Charlie Hunter, who's an international student. Bit of a surprise to see him up there, but nonetheless, all the better for the Ducks. That's going to be big for them, as they had two big departures in Tanner Anderson and Mick Stancevek, both going to University of Washington following Coach Andy Powell. Great to see a new face in the crowd for the Ducks, though, with Charlie Hunter. He ran 24-25. And going down the list a little bit more, we see that Cooper Tier, Blake Haney, and Jackson Messler finished 37, 38, and 39, respectively. That's big for the Ducks, because if they can do that at Pac-12s where those guys run packed up together, it's going to do a lot of damage. Because you get that 3, 4, 5 together, and hopefully they can improve and get as close to Charlie Hunter and James West as possible, because that could be big for the Ducks. That's going to have to happen for them if they really want to be able to make a great impact or a big impact and stir up the podium a little bit. Men, who are ranked only one spot behind University of Oregon in the USTF CCCA rankings, they finished 4th in their race at pre-nats. And to be noted, there were 2 different races: the men's white 8K, which featured Washington and UCLA, and the men's Cardinal 8K, which featured the trio of Stanford, Colorado, and Oregon. So just to be noted, so it doesn't get confusing. But going through their top finishers, we can see that Garrett Reynolds was their top finisher, ran 24-15 to place 25th. Then go down a little bit. Colin Berg placed 30th, 24-19. And then George Gleason, force to be reckoned with on the track. Great 1,500-meter speed. Placed 44th, running 24-32. And hopefully we can see a good race from Georgia Pac-12s, because that would be awesome to see him carry over some of his track ability to the cross-country course. Hopefully had a good month or so of training going into the race, and he can work his way up a little bit closer to their top 2. Maybe they could pack together, stay up towards the front. It could be a big day for the Brew if that happens. A little bit, going down a little bit more. Number 4, Cole Smith, 52nd place, 24-40. He's a senior. And then only 2 spots behind him in 54th was Chris Morzenti, the sophomore, running 24-42. So yeah, all around, not much room between their top 5. Pretty bunched up. Definitely no clear front runner. But it would be great to see the Bruins pull something together and have a great day at Pac-12s this Friday. Love to see it happen. Great group of guys out there in Westwood. Hopefully they've been training hard after the race, and love to see what happens. Taking a look at the women's teams, we have Colorado, who is currently ranked number 1 in the nation right now, after it's mostly based on their performance at Nutty Comb Invitational, as they did not run pre-nats. Well, they raced a B squad, but not their A squad. And then after that, we have Oregon is ranked number 4, Stanford number 6, and Washington number 16. Looking at that, we can tell, Colorado, they won that race at Nutty Comb, 90 points, beat Boise State and New Mexico. New Mexico is defending national champions from last year. And the top 2 runners for the Buffs, University of Colorado, very impressive. Danny Jones, the senior, and McKenna Morley, the senior, got 4th and 5th place. Super impressive. Danny Jones redshirted last track season, Won her race at the pre-classic, which was awesome to see. Beat some great pros, so she's definitely having a good training block right now. She's great shape, fantastic shape. She ran 19:39, and McKenna Morley ran 19:45, placed fourth and fifth, like I said, respectively. So yeah, definitely gonna be, if those two girls can have a great day and maybe perhaps even go 1-2 at Pac-12s, that'd be absolutely huge for the Buffs. Love to see them do that. Great team, great leadership with some seniors on the team. Story program, back-to-back Pac-12 champions. Third place for their team, coming in 13th place overall in their race at Nuttycombe. Sage Herda, the junior, great steeplechaser. She ran 20 flat. If she can get up to closer to those top two as well, it'd be huge for the Buffs. Going down the list a little bit more, Tabor Scholl, the junior, placed 19th in that race for the Buffs, ran 20:08, and then their number 5 runner was kind of a little bit farther off the pack, but Taylor Tuttle, another senior, running 20:32. So yeah, another huge key for the Buffs, I think, is going to be having their number 5 runner close the gap a little bit more and just get into those that top 4 as possible. Because like I said, if that could happen, then who knows? The Buffs are repeating as champions in Palo Alto this year. Next up, we have the University of Oregon women, who are ranked number 4 nationally right now, and they placed runner-up in their race, only behind Arkansas in Madison for the Pre-Nats Invitational, and they were led by the 1,500-meter outdoor national champion this past spring with Jessica Hull, who won the race in 20:03. That was big for the Ducks, especially after losing 2 All-Americans to University of Washington with the Powells in Katie Rainsberger and Lily Burden. Both outdoor All-Americans, indoor All-Americans, cross-country All-Americans, just great athletes across the board, and they're competing at University of Washington now. But back to the Ducks, their number 2 runner was Veronica Piazik. Probably just butchered her last name. I feel bad for that, but don't really know how to pronounce it. She got 12th. She transferred from USF, All-American last year in cross-country, ran 20:29. That's big for the Ducks after losing 2 All-Americans, having a new potential All-American in Jess Hull and Veronica. Very big for the Ducks. Hopefully, like to see them try and get as close as possible at Pac-12s. Hopefully, like to see Jess make a run for the title against Denny Jones, both with their incredible 1,500-meter speed. That'd be a race to watch. Definitely looking forward to that. 17th place, the number 3 runner for the Ducks, was Philly Bowden, new transfer. She's senior from England, coming across the pond, racing for the Ducks. Great to see another new face for the Ducks after the departure of 2 fantastic ones. She ran 20:39, and then coming in 4th for the Ducks was Carmela Kadama Bays. Also, don't really know how to say her last name. Probably butchered it. I'm sorry. She ran 20:40. She was an All-American for the Ducks last year at Cross Nationals, placed in the 30s, I believe. So yeah, definitely looking good. And then Isabel Brower, the junior for the Ducks, ran 20:43. She was their number 5, and she placed 22nd. So yeah, all 5 of the Ducks, top 22. Definitely going to be interesting to see them, how they perform at Pac-12s. If anyone can knock off Colorado, I think it's them. Next, we can take a look at the number 6 ranked nationally University of Stanford women. They finished 3rd in their race behind University of Michigan and New Mexico at Pre-Nats, and New Mexico obviously being the defending national champions, scoring only 67 points to win that race. But yeah, their had a very strong top 2 with Elise Cranny and Fiona O'Keefe finishing 4-5, running 20:06 and 20:09 respectively. Senior and junior. Great talents for the Cardinal, kind of the leaders on that team. Definitely watch out for those two when it comes time in the final 400, final 800 meters of the race. They're going to be up there. And then they're a little bit distant, though, with their number 3 runner, Jessica Lawson, who finished 25th. Still not bad at all. Next up, we have the Stanford women, who placed 3rd at their race at Pre-Nats, behind Michigan and the defending national champions, New Mexico. The Cardinals scored 129 points to Michigan's 120 and New Mexico's 67. As postseason gets closer and closer, New Mexico is definitely one of those teams that everyone is kind of expecting to be up there towards the top. So make sure to keep an eye out for them too. The Cardinal were led by Elise Cranny and Fiona O'Keefe, who placed 4th and 5th, respectively, at their race at Prenats, running 20:06 and 20:09. Definitely awesome to see two upperclassmen leaders on that Cardinal team be the two low sticks for them. Definitely think they can hang with Danny Jones and Jess Hull when the time comes for the finishing kick, so make sure to look out for them. Their number 3 runner in that race was Jess Lawson, the sophomore, who ran 20:51, placing 25th overall. So a little bit of distance between the 1, 2, and the 3, but hopefully they're able to close it down a little bit towards the end of the race, and maybe we can see Stanford get a close 1, 2, 3 or close gap between their 1, 2, and 3. Their number 4 runner was Rebecca Story. She finished 46th place, running 21:09. The true freshman out of Tennessee for Stanford definitely showed some great speed on the track in high school. Happy to see her racing well, coming in, being able to be an immediate impact for Stanford. And then only 3 places behind her was their number 5 runner, Julia Haymack, who placed 49th and ran 21:12. So the top 5 for the Cardinal there, all in the top 50 of that race. Definitely good spacing between them. Definitely hope to see them make a push to get second place, even third place or first place at Pac-12s. I mean, it's their home course, Stanford Golf Course. So yeah, be on the lookout for the Cardinal. They're definitely should be up there. Ranked Washington, and they finished 5th place at Prenats in their race behind Notre Dame, Stanford, Michigan, and New Mexico. Great race for the Huskies, and they have 2 amazing transfers in Katie Rainsberger and Lily Burden. Both are exceptional athletes in cross country and track, multi-time All-Americans. So taking a look at the results, we see Katie Rainsberger, the junior, got 10th place running 20:20. And also note Lily Burden, I'm fairly certain, is redshirting this season. So that's why I'm not going to say her name in the results. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, you just said she transferred there, why didn't you say her name in the results? Because I'm pretty sure she's redshirting. Their number 2 runner was Emily Hamlin, senior. She ran 20:50. So we had 10:22, and then looking at their number 3 runner was Caitlin Neal. She ran 20:56, the junior, placing 31st. Going down after that, we have Allie Shadler, a sophomore, placing 51st, 21:13. Impressive. She had a good season last year as well. And then rounding it out, their number 5 runner is Olivia O'Keefe, the true freshman from Sacramento, California. Ran 21:39. So definitely a young team for the Huskies under new coaching. Going to be super interesting to see how they do at this race. Hopefully they can crack the podium, get top 3, pull a little upset. It'd be awesome to see that. I know they're up on Montlake in Washington, training super hard. So yeah, good luck to the Huskies this week. I want to talk about that is on the bubble for the women's rankings is UCLA. They had a really good showing at Prenats, placing 11th, finishing right behind Colorado's B team, just to show you really how good Colorado is this year. But yeah, they finished 11th, and they were led by 2 top 30 finishes with Erica Adler, the sophomore, running 20:44, and Christina Rice, another sophomore, finishing 26th, running 20:46. So hopefully they've had a good block of training recently, and they can improve on that. And those are definitely going to be the 2 low sticks for UCLA. But then you go down the results a little bit more, and you see their 3rd place runner was back at 66th, Claire Markey, junior, 21:22 for her. Still not bad at all. Hopefully she can get a little bit closer up to the 1-2, but we'll see. And then down a little bit more to their somewhat distant 4 and 5. You can go and look at Cassie Durkee, the junior, the 800-meter speed, phenomenal on the track, ran 21:49, and she placed 112th. But yeah, so going to the 5th runner, it's close to her 122nd, Jackie Gardner, another junior, 21:55. So yeah, hopefully the Bruins, like their men counterpart, have been getting some good training in out in Westwood, one of the most beautiful places to run in California, West Coast, United States for that matter. But yeah, would love to see them pull something out of their hat and do well this weekend. Yeah, all in all, that concludes the podcast. ran through the rankings, the teams, what they're looking like, some of the individuals. Looking forward to a great race on Friday out in Palo Alto. Nothing but respect for all the athletes that are competing and all the teams. Hope everyone does well, and it should be a great race to watch.